I can't imagine what it feels like to lose a child. I've heard a lot of people say that to me since I lost my son Kevin to alcohol poisoning on July 10th of 2005. To be honest, it's something that I never really considered, and that's why that knock on the door came as such a surprise to me. You know, there's probably a lot of people, if they saw a couple police officers and someone in plain clothes at their door at 8:30 on a Sunday morning, they would think, oh my gosh, something horrible has happened. For me, I thought it had something to do with a neighbor or a dog barking or something like that, because I just never had thought about it. But as people say, they can't imagine what it feels like, and they are absolutely correct about that. I met a lady who her daughter had been killed in a car accident, and we talked for quite a while. She told me that her daughter had been dead for a year and a half, and she still visited her grave every day. On my 1,400-mile journey from Arizona to Montana, I ran into this big tough truck driver who stopped by to see what we were doing. I told him about our story, and he started telling us about his son who had died 20 years earlier. His 5-year-old child had died, and he started crying, and it had been 20 years. So it really is a wound that never completely heals over. It might scab over, but it never heals. But I believe that you need to take all that grief energy and turn it into something very good. I sincerely believe that the most you can hope for when you lose a child is to make something very good come from it. There's no money in the world, there's no pill, there's nothing anybody can say to you that'll make that pain go away. But making something very good come from the death of your child will help. I can tell you that for sure. The other thing that you need to do when you lose a child is find a way to forgive yourself for that. I've met a lot of people who have struggled with that too, and one lady in particular who had lost a child to brain cancer. And she told me, we talked about forgiveness some, and she said that she could never forgive God for taking her child away from her. And I understand her anger and frustration. But forgive, we must. That healing process will not start until you find a way to forgive yourself for letting your child die. Because as a parent, you believe that that is your first thing that you must always do is protect your child. And the other thing about losing a child is if you are married, you can quite often end up destroying your relationship. I've seen a number of friends who lost children and their marriages break up because for one reason or another, one person blames the other, one person can't get over it, whatever the case may be. I would encourage anyone who has lost a child and is married to turn towards that person, not away from that person.